Hello, Zainey friends, and welcome to another Makeup and a Movie, where I do my makeup.
And I talk about a movie.
And today we are talking about
X-Men Apocalypse.
And I am going to be using this palette, which you guys voted on Instagrams. You guys voted on it in the YouTube video, and there was some on Facebook. But next time we're going to be doing Instagram, so make sure you check out Instagram or my Snapchat for other voting opportunities. And the palette I'm using is the Makeup Revolution Fortune Favors the Brave palette. And for my lips, I'm sure you're wondering what the heck is going on there. This is the new Maybelline Bolds lipstick. So if you want to see what I did here and what he thinks about the movie, make sure you just keep watching. Before we start, I wanted to let you know everything that I am using in my look today is, of course, down in the description box. But I wanted to tell you, because I was telling you I was on the hunt for the perfect mascara, and I may have found a combination that I think is working for me, which is kind of both a good and a bad thing at this point. I love this Benefit Their Real Tinted Primer because it actually makes my lashes look really long. Unfortunately, a full size of this costs like $24, but I don't know, it might be a good splurge item since I think it works so well. And then there's this is the Pacifica Dream Big Mascara, and what I love about this mascara is that it goes two different lengths, so you can make it longer, and so I don't know, see how long it is. It's kind of like longer, okay, and that's for length, and then you twist it and it goes smaller. And it was very similar to, I believe there was a CK1 mascara that I used, but I like the formula of this a lot. So, if you're looking for some good mascara, here it is. But tell me down below if you know of any other mascara that will make my lashes look both long and big. Alright, so we're going to be using the Makeup Revolution Fortune Favors the Brave palette for this look today. I really love this palette, and I really wanted to get this palette when I saw the colors in it when it was coming out. This is what it looks like. The colors are just gorgeous, and when they were swatched on camera, I was like, I want this palette. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna kind of, I don't know, I'll do two colors at a time because at this point I'm still trying to figure out, and there's so many colors in this palette. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this color right here, and that color is called Buffer, and I'm going to use that just all over, probably from my eyebrow down all the way onto my lid. And then I'm probably also going to top it off with this color, which is called Peachy, and I'm going to also use that one probably just on my lid on top of it, just so that I can build some kind of complexity. Yeah.
So this is the 6th X-Men movie now, the last of the second trilogy that they're doing. And in X-Men Apocalypse, it takes place after all the stuff of the X-Men Days of Future Past movie.
Kind of. Well, yeah, it does, but...
Well, a little bit, but yeah, it's in that same realm. And basically, because of all the stuff that happened in Days of Future Past, pretty much the future is totally new, uncertain, as far as the X-Men universe. So all the stuff that happened in the original 3 movies, X-Men, the second one.
2?
I guess it was X2. And then X-Men Last Stand. Pretty much all that stuff was wiped clean, because now all that's changed because of Days of Future Past. Exactly. And all the stuff that happened in that movie. Exactly. So as this one starts up, basically everyone's aware of mutants now, because they appeared at the White House in that movie, and there was that whole like kind of throwdown that happened there. So people are aware of it. They're still not comfortable with mutants, but as far as mutants go themselves in their community, Mystique is kind of seen as a hero because of the stuff that happened in that movie, which is interesting. Especially if you're familiar with X-Men comics and stuff, she's not really like, to say, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, especially if you've seen the first couple movies, you see,
yeah,
she's not, you know, she and Magneto are kind of on this, like, sinister side, you know?
She ends up saving Nightcrawler out in Berlin. That's part of her story. Like, everyone's kind of all over the place at this, as this movie starts up.
It is. Alright, so as you can see, I've put on 2 colors so far, and there is not a lot. There's like a faint color happening on there. Yes. So now I'm going to try to start in with maybe a little bit darker color. Hey, why don't you pick one? Anything that's not shimmery, like foiled, probably like more matte. Alright, so what we've decided, excuse me, is we're going to use this shade first. It's called Winning. And that's going to go in my crease. And then we're going to use this shade here, which is called Midnight Rainbow. This one right here. And that one is going to go on top of it in the crease to kind of try to smoke it out a little bit. You will see. They're just not very pigmented. I'm kind of disappointed. Okay. I did want to bring out that I have seen this movie twice in the theater. I saw it once regularly and once in 3D. And you only saw it in 3D, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so then also out there, out and about, is Magneto. He started a family out in Poland, and he's working in a like metal factory kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he has a little girl, and he has his wife, and his daughter is a mutant as well. She has some kind of power with animals and such, and she can kind of control them a little bit. That was kind of cool, I thought. But at first, I thought she was Wanda, Scarlet Witch. But of course they have that character over in the Avengers movie, so they can't have her in this. And then, so some stuff ends up happening with them there, and he ends up getting recruited by Apocalypse. He's this all-powerful mutant back in the days of like ancient Egypt, like the pyramids and all that stuff. Basically, he was going to transfer from one body into a new mutant's body, one that has like a regenerative power, because he has the ability to kind of take on the powers of other mutants, as well as enhance their power. So he switches bodies. Some of his followers betray him and end up causing the whole like pyramid to collapse in on itself and trap him. He gets stuck down there, wakes again in 1983, and then he starts looking for mutants to create his 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The first mutant he ends up finding is Storm. She is younger in this, of course, it's in the 80s. And she's with a bunch of pickpocketers in like Cairo, I think it was. It was in Egypt. And
yeah,
so yeah, she's using her powers to kind of help pickpocket and steal stuff from people, which was interesting. So he ends up fighting her and convincing her, well, not really convincing her. He kind of enhances her powers and makes her join him.
There's a lot of things happening in this movie. Yeah. Honestly. I mean, we can talk about all the characters that come back for sure. Like I feel like it's one of those movies that you actually have to like kind of watch yourself in order to kind of see everything that's happening, because even as I'm listening to him talk about it, it's to describe the movie is very confusing.
Yeah.
And I've seen it twice.
There's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening. Alright, so next what we're going to do is I'm going to use this color right here. This is called Skylight. This is kind of like there's kind of like gold flecks in it, and I'm going to put that like just in my lower waterline right here. And then there's this one right here, which is called New World, and it's like a white color and it has some gold flecks in it. And I'm going to kind of put that as a highlight here, down here on like my tear duct area. And then lastly on my lid, I think I'm going to use this color right here. This is called Super Gold. I just put my finger in it. It's actually one of the better foil ones. I want to see how it looks on my lid, just to kind of blend it in a little bit more towards the outside. It's not horrible. I really like the blue on top of the purple right now. I think it's a really good color combination. I'm going to blend it out though, so it's not as...
Yeah, so all that's happening over on one side of the world. Then back here in America, you've got Professor Xavier and his School for the Gifted. They've just gotten a new student, Scott Summers, Cyclops. So he starts up there. You end up meeting a few of the other X-Men that people are familiar with in their younger versions. You've got Jean Grey there, who's still young and trying to figure her powers out as well. Also showing up, you've got Quicksilver comes back. Very cool part of him. Another scene with him kind of zipping around doing a bunch of stuff with his power. I like that. Especially in 3D, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the entire reason why I wanted to see it, was to see that scene in 3D.
Bunch of stuff ends up happening there as well.
Let's talk about Jubilee.
Oh, Jubilee's there. And she has a couple of lines, so she's not totally left out again.
Yeah.
People seem to be getting disappointed with that.
You know, if we really want to talk about people coming back, let's not forget my favorite person to come back, and that would be Moira Taggart.
Yes, she's back in this. Because in the first one, Xavier ended up like wiping her memory, so she didn't remember all the stuff that happened. Which I haven't seen the first one in a long while, so I don't quite remember why he exactly did it. I mean, to protect the kids and stuff, I guess, the school and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, people could kind of come along and use that to their advantage, especially because she worked with the CIA, and so he didn't want her to be put in that position.
So
I just watched the second one recently, but not the first one.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the first one in a while.
And I like that one a lot. That one was definitely one of my favorites of the series. Probably my favorite.
That one was
tied to the very first one. Oh, Beast, he's back.
We're all over the place. I am dropping brushes on the ground.
And to be honest, that's kind of how this movie was. It was a little bit all over the place, but for me, I didn't really mind it so much. I mean, sometimes I kind of do when movies are kind of like jumping all over the place. I think as a casual fan of this, you're going to enjoy it. I think if you don't know anything about X-Men, you've never watched anything, read anything, don't really know much, maybe seen an X-Men movie in your life, you're probably going to be like, what is happening? Too many people, too much story. You're probably going to be like vomiting from so much happening.
Pretty much.
It's a lot. If you know X-Men at all, you've seen the other movies, you know at least a little bit of the characters, you're probably going to have a good time. I loved it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. And to be honest, of all the X-Men movies, the reason why I liked this a lot was that it had a lot of the characters that I know and appreciate from the series. It had them as kids at the school doing what I remember from a lot of, like, especially the cartoon series back in the 90s. It had them going out and kind of saving the world a bit, you know? It had them actually going out there, and I understand they kind of did that in, like, X-Men Last Stand. It kind of got to that point. But I felt like a lot of the other movies, they're kind of just going out there and, like, saving someone or something, and it never felt like as, you know, catastrophic as it did like in this movie. Really battling it out, it'd usually be like one or two or something like that.
Yeah.
And this one, they were all duking it out, using their powers and working as a team, which is why I like the X-Men.
I just used my Jessie's Girl liquid liner on there, and then I'm going to use the Ardell Natural 125 Black Lashes for my falsy lashes. And then I'm going to go to lipstick, which is going to be fun.
What about you, like, comparing it to the others?
Well, I have always kind of liked X-Men, I mean, really from the first movie. But I think in this movie specifically, I liked, you know, just seeing a better origin story, especially of the people who grow up older. And then just the reboot itself, I think, is great. You know, that now it kind of seems like instead of Mystique and Magneto being on a different side, they're kind of on the same side, but they have different agendas. So it's not like it's totally, I don't know, like it's not like it's totally hostile like it was in the first movie. So I kind of like that. It seems like they're bringing obviously Psylocke, you know, if they ever do another movie, which they said they might, but they're, you know, they're not really sure, that Psylocke might be a villain that they will deal with, because even though she's in this movie, you know, she kind of seems like she's still out there, and, you know.
Yeah. And she's pretty cool. And I was like, I don't know how much I'd like Olivia Munn as Psylocke. I mean, she's got the look down, but I was like, I don't know. She actually was pretty cool as Psylocke in it, in her, you know, bit part.
I don't know too much about Psylocke, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. I don't know. I like Olivia Munn in some things, but I don't know. I was just kind of like, okay, that's great. Yeah. But it just seems like she doesn't have a lot of complexity. Well, at least the way she's being portrayed, she didn't have a lot of complexity, or, like, I don't know. Okay, because she was just kind of like, I'm with this dude in Berlin who basically sells fake passports and papers for people. And, oh, look, there's this other guy. Let's go over and do some stuff with him. Oh, you know, like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
You know, it didn't seem like she had much motive, you know?
I mean, Bryan Singer has said that this is definitely the third film in another trilogy of the movies, and that he kind of made this in a way to kind of be a good origin story, to pass it on and set it up for more potential X-Men movies for these characters that they've now have here, because it kind of seems like it's finishing up the stuff with Eric Magneto. And Professor Xavier and Mystique, it's kind of finishing up their stuff and starting off with some of these newer X-Men and what's happening with them.
Yes, exactly.
So,
alright, so we're going to go for the lips, and for this look I am using the new Maybelline Bolds, and I love this line. Like, all of the Maybelline that come in this like square package and the different colors, I love the formula on this, but I decided to be extra like adventurous, I guess, and Marshall was like, you need to buy this color and use it in a makeup in a movie. I'm like, okay. So this is called Midnight Blue, and it is literally this color. It is blue. And I thought, well, it's kind of appropriate for this movie because Beast is blue, Mystique is blue, and as Nightcrawler says in this movie, I'm blue. And so there's a lot of blue happening. So I thought this would be an amazing
Apocalypse is kind of blue.
Alright, let's see how this goes.
Apocalypse and his makeup. Yeah. So, some trivia I found about this. No, not yet. So, for Apocalypse, they were going to potentially cast Tom Hardy or Idris Elba. They were considered for the role. Ended up going to Oscar Isaac, who is for the most part unrecognizable as Apocalypse in this. I think he did a good job of that. They did a really weird special effect with his voice where it was kind of like multi-layered and echoing and
they did.
Very creepy, very cool. And if you're not sure who Oscar Isaac is, or Apocalypse isn't recognizable to you, he was Poe Dameron in the last Force Awakens movie, Star Wars. So he was in that.
Did not recognize him as that either, and I saw Star Wars. Didn't really, nope.
You get like a glimpse of his face at the very beginning of the movie.
I don't know how I feel about this lip color. Marshall's giving me a thumbs up on the other side of the camera like, it looks good, and I'm like,
You gotta own it. You gotta take it, own it. Yeah, there you go. You'll notice in... No, I don't even want
No spoilers.
So Jean Grey, she's in this as a younger version, played by the pretty awesome Sophie Turner, who's in Game of Thrones as Sansa Stark. So some of the other people that were considered for the part of Jean Grey, here's the list. Elle Fanning, Chloe Grace Moritz, Haley Steinfeld, Saoirse Ronan, I can't say her name, there it is, Saoirse Ronan from Brooklyn, Daisy Ridley, and Lily Collins, and Margot Robbie.
Oh.
Margot Robbie's kind of older.
Saoirse would have been good, sorry.
Yeah.
She would have been good.
I could see her.
But I loved Sophie Turner. I usually don't really have a liking for Jean Grey, at least I didn't previously because of, well, I like the character, I just didn't like Femke's portrayal of her. But in this, I loved her. I thought, could easily start to be one of my favorite characters on this.
And some of the stuff that happens with her in this movie is pretty awesome. If you know Jean Grey and her story, especially anything involving Phoenix, pretty cool stuff in this movie with her.
Well, anyway, this is my look for X-Men Apocalypse. I'm just going with it. I don't even know. But yeah, I think it looks interesting with my pale skin if I ever wanted to do like a... Sure. Anyway, thank you so much for watching a Makeup in a Movie, and if you want to see more, make sure you look down below. I'll have the entire playlist listed as well as our social media information, which should show up right here, probably, maybe if that happens. Sure. Alright. Why don't you guys tell us what you guys want to see next time? Like, I don't know, there's a couple movies coming out, I just don't know what I want to do. I don't even know what's coming out next weekend. I think it's like Now You See Me 2, and I can't remember, there was another one that we were I'm like, okay, maybe, you know.
Angry Birds is out. No.
Then also make sure that you watch our social media, or at least my Instagram or Snapchat, because I may be putting up places for you to vote for the palette to be used next time, because that was what we had this time. You guys chose this one, so that's why I used it. Yeah. Alright,
Good job.
Well, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep calm.
Stay zany.
Bye.